Well, hello and welcome back to Restaurant Review. We're just finishing Memorial Day weekend here in New Orleans. We've got a rainy summer day, but we're glad you're hopefully catching us because we've got a great new restaurant for you and we've got an archival musician. I want to tell you a little bit about the information. As we said, we are coming to you right after Memorial Day, and we'll be doing this for the next few days, and we might have to repeat this session depending on what we got scheduled next week. Our original band that we had scheduled really was going to work well with this restaurant. Unfortunately, had a last-minute emergency, and they did have to cancel. But we're hoping to bring them into the studio next week, and whether we have a restaurant or not, and record some tunes, because as we said in the beginning, we are looking for musicians. So please help us out and send us some musicians because we really need them post-Katrina. But we do, our director has gone back to the archives, and he's going to pick out hopefully a great talent. I was made the suggestion of Dan Rivers, but I'm not sure of that because Dan was here, even though he's not New Orleans anymore. He comes for the holidays and plays at our friend Phil Melancon's Neutral Ground. And he was here over the Memorial Day weekend, so I brought him one of those tapes. But let's go ahead and take a look and see who the director has selected for our musical guest, and we'll talk about him on the other side.
Song. One day I always had a favorite car, and my favorite car is a 1967 Chevy. And I was out there one day, rolled it out of the garage, and I shined it up a little bit, and got to thinking about an old girlfriend in the old neighborhood. So I got in the car, drove by the old neighborhood, and it's called You Were 16 Again. Drove by our old house. Cherry red Chevy with black bucket seats. The year was 67, the story's bittersweet. Shined up the memories and polished the chrome. Drove to the old house that once was your home. You were a vision in my cherry red car, and I'll remember you the way you are. You were 16 again. You were 16 again. Drove by St. Mary's, the school where we met. Out by the projects that weren't there yet. Down by the drive-in where it used to be. The one where you gave your love to me. You were a vision in my cherry red car, and I remember you the way you are. You were 16 again. You were 16 again. Down the highway in our radio days, and life was easy in so many ways. Looked in a rear mirror, it shattered my view, ended my timeless vision of you. You were a vision with the wind in your hair, and I remember you the way you were. You were 16 again. You were 16 again. I remember you the way you were. You were a vision with that wind in your hair. You were 16 again. You were 16 again. I had a cherry red Chevy with black bucket seats. You were 67, the story bittersweet. Shined up the memories and polished the chrome. Drove the old house that once was your home. You were a vision in my cherry red car, and I remember you the way you are. And you were 16 again. You were 16 again. Drove by St. Mary's, the school where we met. Out by the projects that weren't there yet. Out to the drive-in where it used to be. The one where you gave your love to me. You were a vision in my cherry red car, and I remember you the way you are. You were 16 again. 16 again. I drove down the highway in radio days. Life was easy in so many ways. Looked in a rear mirror, it shattered my view. It ended my timeless vision of you. Were a vision with a wind in your hair. You smiled at me the way you did back then. You were 16 again. You were a vision in my cherry red car. And I remember you the way you are. You were 16 again. You were 16 again. Thank you.
Well, that was Dan Rivers, as we said before the song, and we're glad that he got a chance to entertain you. If you missed him here in Memorial Day weekend, you got a chance to see him on the show. I know he has a website, or if you contact the Neutral Ground on Dan Neal, you can find out when's his next visit if you'd like to see him in person. But once again, he'll be back later in the show for 2 more songs. So let's move forward to our restaurant, and we really have a great new concept. As you know, our specialty is new restaurants, and I know this has been a little longer than normal, but we'll find out the exact details from our guest. But it's located in the 1205 St. Charles condominiums. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They're right off of the Robert E. Lee Circle next to the Old Jerusalem Temple. This for a long time was a elderly assisted living residence that that management group that's redoing Krause took over right before Katrina and continued post-Katrina, got it totally redone over, and it's now really caters to upscale professionals. Arthel Neville, a bunch of people live there, so it's really fine. And downstairs are 3 or 4 different retail outlets, of which this is the only restaurant or cafe. And we're pleased to announce today the restaurant we have today is called the Vitality Cafe. We have today the executive chef, who is actually the creator and founder of the Vitality Cafe, and her name is Dr. KATHERINE WILBERT. Welcome to the show, Catherine.
Thank you for having me here, Bob.
Great. Now, what I did mention to you before we get into it, because I want you to tell us a lot about it, is that we know the government, and everyone's concerned about their waistline other than myself, and more and more the government's pushing restaurants, et cetera, to give and to move toward healthy foods for its constituents, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, in our city, it's going to be tough. Not anymore. They're labeling everything now, et cetera. But Catherine came up with the concept of actually doing a total health food restaurant. Now, this is not right away you come up with the just stuff I've never seen, crazy. Absolutely not. When you see the type of food, these are dishes that you're going to recognize uptight right away. New Orleans style dishes, but done the healthy way, as well with a gourmet to go. She's got everything for you. So first of all, Catherine, tell us, how did you come up with the concept, and then we'll talk specifically about the restaurant.
Well, Bob, the concept, I guess, evolved out of a need. I mean, you mentioned people are trying to make healthier choices, but what has happened is we tend to believe that good taste and health have to be mutually exclusive. And what I set out to do was take things, as you mentioned, that we recognize as good foods, particularly here in New Orleans. I mean, we're the food mecca of the world, and unfortunately a lot of those foods are prepared in ways or with ingredients that just aren't healthy. So what the concept of Vitality was all about is taking foods that we do recognize and utilizing some food science and some ingredient differentiations and really making those foods over to be healthy and not just to be less bad. That is one of the things you see in restaurants now. I mean, people are trying to provide healthier options, but what's happening is you go into a restaurant and you try to make a good food choice, and out of all the different dishes, there's 1 or 2 kind of buried in the corner, and you kind of know going into it they probably don't taste as good. We've either taken out the butter and not really put in anything good. What we've done is we've taken all those types of things. We've taken some typical New Orleans dishes, gumbos, things like that, grilled sandwiches with coleslaw and barbecue sauce and cheese and,
Right.
and burgers and things you just never would think
Never
of.
associate with being healthy.
Never associate with
Exactly.
being healthy. And we've actually taken some of the things, too, that the typical old-time health food restaurant, the tunas, the chicken salads, the things we used to think were healthy until we realized 10 pounds of mayo in anything isn't healthy. We've taken some of those things as well, made them over to be healthy, but with much more of a gourmet flair.
Right. And you certainly have hit it. I know a lot of places have tried in the past, and really what it turns out to be is strictly a smoothie place with maybe things you can buy, but or they'll take things that they know are good for you, like put an avocado in something, you know. But again, it's not looked at from the whole perspective, and that's what the focus that you bring to it, and the amount of detail is totally different. They might have healthy items on another menu, but again, the preparation is the regular way. So it's just putting something that would be considered healthy in the dish as opposed to really focusing on the whole preparation. Okay, now let's tell a little bit. How long have you been open at a location on 1205 St. Charles?
That location has been open less than a year.
I knew I thought it was less than a year.
It opened just before the new year.
Right.
And it's really been going well there.
It's very slick. Speaking of healthy food, the colors on the wall, I'm sure you'll see a couple of pictures. One's like an avocado wall, another one's pomegranate colors with sleek chrome. You see those tables, sleek chrome tables with the tabletops that are really iridescent. So it's really a fun looking, very streamlined, again, cosmopolitan looking place. But I know you're doing so well with it. I know you've opened other locations. Where else have you have one?
We actually have 5 locations in the Louisiana area. There's 4 in New Orleans. There's one in Metairie on Veterans. There's one in Harahan on Hickory. There's another. We have another location in Mandeville as well, and then there's a location in Baton Rouge, and we just opened one right at the new year in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
New Mexico, so you're really broadening out. So you see, folks, this is really going to be exploding, and obviously something that people are really looking for, so that's the key. Now, I know, as we said, this place is not only a cafe, but it's also a grocery store, if you want to call it, neighborhood grocery. It's a gourmet to go. But you do have tables. You accommodate about how many in your inside?
The St. Charles location, probably around 40 to 50 people.
50, great. And let's talk about your hours. What days you're open, what days you close, and what are the times, please?
We're actually open 7 days a week.
7, great. We love that.
Breakfast and lunch are served. All of the locations have the same hours. They're 7 days a week. Lunch is served Monday through Saturday. That St. Charles location actually keeps the grill open, though, the entire time until they close. So that location serves food until 7 o'clock at night. I
told them early on that was because originally they told me they shut down the grill at whatever your other time. And I said, you know what you're going to find? If you can keep that on a couple more hours, you're going to see that the people coming home from work are going to be coming in here because this is the way they can get their either early dinner or late lunch, but probably early dinner, and just take it up to their apartment or eat it in. So,
well, you know, Bob, you're exactly right, and the demand has been so great that's one of the things we've looked at the other locations, as well as we keep a tremendous amount of packaged food. We have an open merchandiser, a grab and go, where we keep pounds of the tunas and chickens and the salsas and hummus, some prepared wraps and salads for people to take away with them, whether it's quick lunch or you know, for dinner. But it's interesting because we started out with abbreviated hours, and it's exploded because people do want to eat healthy. The thing is, it's almost like you can't say it's healthy at first. You've got to let people know how good it tastes because, you know, you made a very good point early in the show. When you say health food, that conjures images of tofu and strange things that will never taste good. And these are real dishes, hearty dishes that satisfy every appetite. We have all sorts of burgers, like I said, burgers, grilled sandwiches.
Why don't we take a look at some of the pictures, because that's what the folks see the most. We always start with appetizers. Now, again, sort of the Mexican Southwestern flavor. We've got a couple of the very famous chips and salsa. And again, what I love here is she's serving the blue corn chips. Now, I think they have other styles, I believe, for sale, but serving the blue corn chips in her product. And if you haven't had the blue corn chips, folks, you have not tasted, because these are really excellent. Go ahead.
Well, and I want to make a point about that, because we've had people ask, are those dyed blue. And no, there's in some places dyed their chips blue.
Oh, I didn't know they really did that.
Well, some places will dye them blue and red and make them festive and everything.
Oh, okay.
But these are made from real organic blue corn, and corn does come in lots of colors,
exactly.
Reds and blues and yellows. But these are
I knew they were natural, but I mean, I understand what you say, because most people think that yellow fixation is the only color corn comes in. So that's good you did explain, because it is truly all natural. But taste-wise, it's got the same crunch of a regular chip, but the flavor is just magnificent. Now, we can go back to we have on each of these, because some of these dishes do look alike. So we have a close-up of the salsa. This is not the heavy tomato base that you get at your local Mex-Tex store. Let's talk. To me, it's almost like a pico. I call it a pico de gallo. I don't know if you do as well. Tell us what's in that for the folks who are maybe not familiar with that style of salsa.
That is actually called Dr. C's organic salsa. It is 100% organic. It's made with organic Roma tomatoes, garlic, onions, all the traditional, lots of the things you would make a pico de gallo with.
Right.
Lots of fresh organic cilantro, lime juice. It's really no different than a really great salsa or a pico de gallo. It's just made with all organic ingredients.
Yeah, that's what I said. We don't want to frighten you off by saying organic. We're going to say, what is that? Or
Well, I'm going to make a point that customers have made to me, because the interesting thing is to watch people's tastes evolve. And when you take out all the chemicals and the pesticides and things like that, what happens is you actually taste the food.
Oh, yeah.
And that has been the comment that so many people have made is, why does this taste so much better? What do you do to it that it tastes so much better? Part of it is the combinations of seasoning ingredients we use, but you're actually tasting the food and what it tastes like with all its nutrients in it.
True. Years ago, I don't know, I guess it was a quest for health. I decided not to put salt on food. And I was just like everyone before. A salad would come, I'd put the salt on before I tasted it, or anything. Just it was tradition, And many dishes already have salt in them. In fact, the old days loaded with salt, so we were just pouring. And what I found was I started learning what food tasted like. It didn't just taste salty, which I love the salt. But so it's just a further example of it. So folks, again, don't be afraid when we say organic that this is we're talking about flavor. And that's what's nice about it also is usually there's some type of sample at the countertop when you go in there of a different food, whether it's a hummus, so you can taste it first before you even try it. So you won't, whether you believe us or not, you'll see that the flavor is really there. It's
and always ask. Don't be shy. Come in and ask. Say, hey, I would like to taste. I heard about your hummus. I heard you guys are the best hummus. Can I taste it? We love to sample our food. We sample the food, the ice cream, everything all day long.
You're jumping ahead. Look, you mentioned hummus, and I think our next appetizer is a beautiful hummus plate. Let's take a look. Look how pretty that is, folks. Now, is this a particular type of hummus, or is it the plain, or you could flavored hummuses, or no?
It is not a flavored hummus. It is it is my adaptation of what I think great hummus should be.
Okay.
A lot of hummus you taste the garbanzo beans or the chickpeas more than you taste anything else. So you taste the tahini, and it doesn't have a lot of flavor. I find that this has just the right amounts of lemon and garlic. So while I wouldn't say it was necessarily flavored, you can taste that lemon, the garlic, and again, the texture is a little bit different. It's not quite as beany. It's a little creamier than a typical hummus.
And that's it. A lot of people don't know that, like I said, tahini, lemon, and garlic are in the normal hummus. So that's what's really good about it. So yours does bring out that flavor, and it's not overly beany, because some of them can really get heavy, heavy in the taste. So anyway, there you go. You don't have to worry about getting a flavor, because she's got garlic already in there and lemon as well. Once you try it, you're going to believe it. Now, we've got another, what they call here is a Santa Fe relish. Again, served with the blue chips. So we're going to let's bring that, Mr. Director, let's bring that close up so Catherine can go over the ingredients here, so you won't think you're still looking there you go. Let's go over this, because this is really a Santa Fe kind of style dish to me, the dip.
Well, and it's this is actually great as an appetizer, and we use this very same relish on a couple of our entrees.
I know, on a salad, right?
We do, on a salad.
Excellent. So tell us what's in it to differentiate it between the salsa we just looked at. Yeah.
It's corn, black beans, lots of Southwest seasonings, cilantro, lime. So it's got a lot of those Southwest flavors, but it's a very, I guess it's a very light entree.
Oh, definitely.
It's not real heavy like
no, and that's the problem with some of those. When you start putting a lot of the beans, just like in the hummus, they get too heavy.
Right.
The bean is not so pronounced, and so it maintains that lightness throughout. It's really excellent. Okay, so remember, you can get that as an appetizer, on a salad, or a lot of the other dishes. The menus are very, very versatile and continue to evolve all the time. Now, she has soups, which we all love. So let's take a look. I think the first soup is what we talked about earlier, New Orleans traditional gumbo. Now, this is wonderful shrimp and okra gumbo, right?
That is a shrimp and okra gumbo.
Now, tell us what the key here is so people be shocked.
The key that shocks most people, because I have had people tell me this is the best gumbo they've ever had, and when I tell them that's made without a roux, they don't believe it.
They don't believe it.
And that, that is the thing that makes a lot of our New Orleans foods unhealthy. And I don't want to say anything against New Orleans cuisine. I mean, that's the whole first you make a roux.
That is the key to most of the food.
It's the key, but if you can cook down some of your other vegetables and things, you can still get the coloring and the flavoring that you bring through that roux without all that flour and oil and the things that make it unhealthy. So what we've been able to do is keep every bit, if not more, bring out all those wonderful flavors in a gumbo, yet make it truly healthy.
Yeah, I challenge you all to come try this, because if you're a shrimp lover, and of course you got to love the okra, because it is loaded with okra, but delicious. And it'll be hard for you to say, well, this was not made with a roux, because it's amazing. Okay, now one of the other soups is really. They're chilies. Do you still do multiple types of chilies?
We do two chilies. We have two house chilies that are, I would say, unique. The one that
I think one we're going to look at is the roasted turkey. Or no?
Well, that's a turkey and black beans.
Turkey and black beans. Okay.
And we use a free range.
Got a close up on that too. So let's take a look at that real close. And this is turkey, black beans, and I know it had a little spice to it.
Yeah, it's a blend of some different chili flavorings. All of our seasonings, we blend ourselves.
Right.
They're all, like I said, they're all our recipes. So the seasoning, there's not just a chili seasoning in there. It's a blend of a lot of different spices, some different tomatoes we use for that.
But again, we like New Orleans likes that kick to it, and
it's got a kick.
Found it in there. That's what I'm saying, which I was amazed, because usually they get it from that chili sauce or chili powder, and you're doing it naturally through the. They're
different, and there's chili powder and there's cayenne and cumin and things in there. But the interesting thing is, seasonings also have therapeutic or medicinal benefits as well. So when you look at spices, herbs and spices actually have health benefits. So that kick you say that we love so much in our food actually has health benefits. Cayenne is great for circulation. It's great for it's very high in vitamin C. So there are benefits just by using certain spices in foods. The tomatoes, we use different types of tomatoes. The vegetarian chili uses fire-roasted tomatoes, which are really high in lycopene. So, again, we can provide a lot of those same wonderful flavors while providing a lot of health benefits as well.
Sure. Well, now let's take a look at some of your entrees, and here's where really the diversity comes. Look at sandwiches. I think salads might be next, and then sandwiches, wraps. Let's see what's up next. I believe it's your featured. This, folks, is her new featured salad. It's called Wild Ponchatulas. Now, did you notice Ponchatulas didn't have a T in your spelling? I don't know if you know.
Ponchatoula doesn't have a T.
P-O-N-T.
No, that's Pontchartrain.
Yeah, got it on me. Anyway, Pontchartrain, I don't confuse the audience. Magnificent salad. This is wonderful. Tell us what's in these great strawberries, pecans. Tell us some of the ingredients in this beautiful salad.
There's actually a real unique blending of flavors in this salad. First of all, it's on a bed of organic greens. All of the greens we use are organic.
Maybe we should tell people, because again, we always assume everybody knows what things
organic
are.
means.
What do you mean by organic? So someone else isn't carrying either a negative implication to it or a different concept. What do you mean by organic? So we'll be on the same base.
Certified organic produce means that it is grown without any pesticides, fertilizers, or chemicals. So what that means is you do taste the food, and you're not getting all those chemicals that have been known to be carcinogenic.
Right.
Lettuce is one of those things that we actually use lots of pesticides and chemicals on, and a lot of times to preserve lettuce so that it can maintain that long trip of being shipped.
Shelf life, exactly.
Shelf life. Even in a restaurant, it's sprayed down with more chemicals.
Right.
So in eating a salad, we think we're making a
then
good food
we're doing
choice,
something wonderful.
and we're actually eating a lot of chemicals. So when even if you do nothing more than switch out your greens, you're making a huge change in what you're eating, because you're taking away, like I said, fertilizers,
treated greens.
pesticides.
Let's just call them the treated greens.
The treated greens, right.
Okay. Let's move on and take a look at some of the. So we had a salad. You have some other salads, though, don't you? I know.
Oh, we have dozens of salads. That particular one we just
That's your latest featured one. I know. It's really beautiful.
Well, the pecans we use on it are Swerve candied pecans. So those pecans, Swerve is an all-natural sweetener that we use in lots of our things we've been able to make over. Okay. We'll get to the desserts, but ice cream and everything. Swerve is an all-natural sweetener that looks, tastes, and measures like sugar. Mm-hmm. So we've candied these pecans using ingredients that they actually taste like pralines,
right?
But they don't have any of the sugar or butter or anything in them that a standard praline would have.
And what would be a couple of other different salads real quickly before we move on? Even though we don't have pictures on salads.
We have a Florida Sea salad, which is awesome. It has cranberries and walnuts and feta. We have another salad that's the chicken salad that has the relish on it, the Santa Fe relish. We have. How
about a fruit salad? I know some people really love. I know you have fruit there, but is there anything that's almost truly like a fruit salad?
We will be launching a fruit salad, which will be a fruit cup that's available with yogurt and walnuts and some different things that we're going to have for the summer. So you're jumping ahead on our menu there,
you
but
come in, cut me down. But great for summer. Great idea.
Lots of melons.
Okay, now let's look at some of the sandwiches and the wraps. I think the first is a wonderful turkey wrap. This is so good, folks. I call it the Gringo.
Palo Alto.
It's called the Palo Alto. That's what she calls it, Palo Alto. Right? But in other words, we call it the Gringo burrito. Anyway, what I don't like about burritos usually is that the dough on the wrap, on the tortilla, is so heavy. Now, usually I'm chewing all the time, so I usually take all of my dough out and just eat the contents. Just the opposite. Your tortilla here is very light but still soft, holds it together. And again, we've got a close-up in the next picture that you can see. Tell us about, I know this is not free-range turkey, but
yes, it is.
Free-range turkey?
Is.
Okay. Let's look at that close-up so people can see all the ingredients. Very, very moist, delicious turkey breast. We've got, carrots, and what else we got? What's those pretty greens in there?
That's our organic mixed greens, carrots, tomatoes, organic tomatoes. That is free-range smoked turkey. So that means, in free-range means there's no antibiotics, no hormones, no chemicals. Didn't pump them up. Avocados. And then we also have a shallow cream cheese that we make homemade, fresh every day. And the wrap it's on is a whole grain tortilla that's actually very high in fiber and naturally very low in carbohydrates.
Wow. You would think that if anything has weight there is the tortilla bread, but it's not. Very, very light. Okay, now another thing that she has, we talked earlier today, is burgers. Can you believe burgers can be healthy? And I know we're going to throw you for a loop with some of these burgers, but I learned, and I'll tell you by experience, I think the first picture of the burger we have is the ostrich burger. We got a close-up again, and I'll tell you, I don't know if you are really a gourmet or people have really been following food for a while. Back in I think it was the late 80s or the 90s, all of a sudden, ostrich became the new food for the chefs. All over the world, they started doing, in fact, ostrich farms were springing up left and right. It was an investment. In fact, I got invested. We had 2 or 3 ostrich farms on the North Shore. Fortunately, it wasn't a heavy investment because it didn't last. But if you taste ostrich meat, and of course it's foul, like a chicken, I guess, but nothing like that taste. It tastes much more along the beef lines, and it is just delightful. One of the best tastes you've ever had. So she's included ostrich burgers. Tell us a little bit about your ostrich burger.
The ostrich burger is, as you mentioned, it is more reminiscent of beef because it's a very red meat. The ostrich burger ostrich is probably the leanest red-looking meat you can find.
Exactly.
In fact, that entire burger has less than a gram of fat, which is amazing. But that is also why that burger is served medium rare at best. You would not want to cook ostrich thoroughly because it's a very delicate meat.
Very delicate.
And it dries out if you cook it too much. That particular burger is served what we call Cali style. It has the avocados and carrots and tomatoes, sprouts, everything on it. We also serve all of our burgers Cabo style, which is a little spicier with a slaw and barbecue sauce, or Western style, which has grilled
So Cabo
onions.
has, I'm sorry, I missed that one. This one is called, what sauce?
That's Cali.
Cali
style.
Okay. Cabo.
Cabo's a little spicier. It has pepper jack cheese and a chipotle slaw, barbecue slaw and sauce. It's really
I love that
good.
one. And what's the last?
The other one's Western, which is grilled onions and peppers, barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese, and then we also have an all-American style.
Wow.
For those of you who don't want to venture out.
And you can put anyone, even though it might suggest one, you can again change it to one of the others.
Yeah,
right?
you can choose your burger. So you can choose either an ostrich burger, a buffalo burger, a turkey burger, any of those types of burgers.
Right.
And then choose your style.
Okay. Now, do you have some of these other more exotic burgers still, or no? Not the buffalo?
We have every burger on there. We have buffalo burgers every day. We have buffalo burgers,
folks,
turkey burgers.
I had one years ago. When I first went in, they didn't have it, so I didn't know if they were out of it. They weren't going to carry it anymore. But there's another burger, buffalo, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. And again, the bison that range. Now, I heard there's two problems with buffalo. One problem is that it's getting to be so common or expected that changing and substituting, and actually in some places using in some of the European countries, water buffalo instead of bison. Yeah, bison is the one, we have on our nickels and the one that were extinct for years. The flavor, again, folks, magnificent. Once you try some of these, I know it's, that's too exotic. It's not. If you like beef, you're going to love a buffalo burger. And there's a chain of restaurants, in fact, opened in Baton Rouge right before the storm, that specializes in buffalo meat. And even though it's a chain, it's a great place to be introduced. But you don't have to go there. You can try it here, folks. A buffalo burger, I'm telling you, from a taste-wise, is just tremendous. Well, she has turkey burgers. You have veggie burgers. That's your true health food nut. Any other ones? Yeah, chicken burger.
We have chicken. We do as a burger style. We also have a sunshine burger, which is not your typical veggie burger. There's no soy in it. It's actually all veggies. And then we do a mushroom burger, which is sautéed mushrooms with cheese. It's really
What type of mushrooms? Portobellos?
We do not use portobellos.
Too heavy?
Too heavy for what we're doing to make it kind of like a burger, but it's really good. The way that it's sautéed and kind of all brought together with the cheese,
mushrooms have that consistency of meat. They really do. That chewy consistency is so much like meat. So there you go. So even the kids can find burgers here.
There you go.
They want to show. We're really showing you the diversity. Now I think we have. Now this is something that really. Again, we've got a new Latin community coming into the city. Even though we've had one for years, but because of construction, Latino. We had Felipe's on a few weeks ago. Well, this is Katherine's tribute to the Latino, and it is for those who ever had a Cuban sandwich. Absolutely delicious. She calls it her skinny Cuban. Take a look here. Let's talk about it. This is absolutely delicious. Tell us what we got inside this.
That is two different types of free-range turkey that we use to bring out those same flavors that you get in a Cuban sandwich.
Right.
We're substituting the meat. It's got the pickles, the cheeses.
I think we got an open, Mr. Director, we open up, the next one is an open sandwich, since you can see, as you say, on both sides, those are two different turkeys, right?
Two different
Now,
turkeys.
is
A
it-
turkey pastrami.
Turkey pastrami, okay.
And,
then you smoke turkey?
It's actually a Cajun seasoned, kind of a spicier turkey.
Wow. And then what else do we have on there besides? I see those beautiful pickles. What else included?
The beautiful pickles, and then we have Swiss cheese on both sides. It's actually a soy Swiss, and then it's grilled on an artisan rosemary bread.
Okay.
So it's
sort of
still
like a focaccia or was it panini? I forget what it.
It's sort of like a focaccia. I mean, a typical Cuban sandwich is a pressed sandwich. So instead of using that French bread, we're using a large artisan loaf of rosemary bread. So it's just the blend of flavors.
The flavors is really good. So and then she has some other traditional say like a Reuben. Don't you have a Reuben? Which my favorite is Reuben.
I would say we have the best turkey Reuben.
Oh wow, that's really bragging, huh?
But you know, a lot of people like Reubens, and a lot of restaurants have substituted turkey meat for the corned beef, trying to make it a little bit healthier, but they haven't really changed all the other ingredients, or you end up with a really dry Reuben sandwich. Wow. This sandwich is very moist, very juicy. It's grilled, lots of what seems like butter on the outside. We use an organic a product called Earth Balance, which is an organic spread that is non-hydrogenated. There's no trans fats, none of that bad stuff.
Hey, there's our word for the day.
There you go. And
no trans fat.
Lots of good omega-3s in it, so it's actually good for you. And I think that's the biggest difference with all these menu items, that even if you were going to take health out of the equation, the blend of the flavors and the taste, they're phenomenal, and they're newer spins on some of these older traditional dishes, but yet we've kept in mind how to make them healthy and how to make them balanced. Every single menu item is completely balanced. So the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins, they're all nutritionally sound. It's not like you're eating something that's too high in carbs or too high in fat or not enough protein. They're all balanced meals.
And what's good about it, we don't have to sit there and figure it out. We don't have to count the calories on the pack or like I say, trans fat. That's what's good about this, folks. You're guaranteed that any of the things in here are heart healthy. Not only heart healthy, I mean healthy per se. The nutritionist, Catherine has a tremendous background in nutrition, has looked at this from the get-go. So it's not just the other place where they just throw in a couple of healthy ingredients. She's looking at it from the base material, the actual food substance, the calories, the fats, the whole balance that's necessary for your chemistry makeup. Now, even though we don't like to talk about it, we don't like to think about it, we don't have to do it here. We're talking about Vitality Cafe. She's got the location uptown at 1205 St. Charles, like I say, in the base of the 1205 condos. It's got a location in Metairie, I think one in Harahan, she told me, North Shore, and New Mexico. Wow, she's spreading like wildfire. I think you're going to find it open 7 days, serves lunch. For lunch, they stay open to about 7, I believe. Isn't it about 7?
The stores stay open till 7 every day except Sunday. Sunday we close at 5.
Sunday
lunch
at 5.
served Monday through Saturday.
And more opening hours?
We're open at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. So what we haven't talked about is breakfast there. I mean, they have the coffees, and we're going to come back after we listen to our musician and talk about desserts, which of course we all have to have, healthy desserts, which is an amazing anomaly, and talking about her coffees, her juices, and her smoothies, which will really knock your socks off. So whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or late evening for a gourmet to go, it's perfect. So why don't we do this? We got Dan Rivers, as we say, on tape. So let's go ahead and take a listen to Dan's second song, and when we come back, then we'll finish off the menu with Catherine Wilbert of Vitality. Let's hear what Dan has to sing.
Ireland has done a lot of suffering in the last couple of hundred years, in famines and wars. And this is a song that was inspired by a photograph that I saw of an orphan playing in the streets of Belfast. Again, it's Whiskey in Heaven. There's whiskey in heaven, I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Your mama will sing you that old Irish tune she sang by the bed when your life was but June. There's whiskey in heaven, I know, where else would good Irishmen go? days just walking my wind-dwarfed shrubs, and the nights drinking whiskey in old Irish pubs. I've searched for the answer in old folklore. What's Ireland dying for? As whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Your mama will sing you that old Irish tune she sang by the bed when your life was but June. There's whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Well, a child played alone on the cold streets of Belfast. I stood there, I watched him a while. Well, he seemed to be playing some light-hearted game, but I wondered why he never smiled. As whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Your mama will sing you that old Irish tune she sang by the bed when your life was but June. There's whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? How long will it take to bring peace to my home? How long will it take for a child to stand alone? Child played alone on the cold streets of London. I stood there, I watched her a while. Well, she seemed to be playing some light-hearted game, but I wondered why she never smiled. As whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Your mama will sing you that old Irish tune she sang by the bed when your life was but June. There's whiskey in heaven I know, where else would good Irishmen go? Thank you.
That was Dan Rivers, and he'll be back one more time at the end of the show. Like you say, he was here over at Neutral Ground for the Memorial Day weekend, but he resides away from us now. I believe it's in Nashville. Anyway, stick around, you'll hear another song for him. But we're here with Dr. Katherine Wilbert discussing her great new creation, Vitality Cafe, located in New Orleans, uptown at 1205 St. Charles, with other locations in Metairie and Harahan, North Shore, and New Mexico. Wow. And still growing. As we mentioned, the key here, folks, is flavor, flavor, flavor. So you can go here. You don't have to worry about counting the calories. Have I have too many things here? Do I have to watch? Everything here is perfectly balanced and perfect for your nutrition. So whether you eat it inside or you take it to go, you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is find the combination of flavors that you like. And some of these things we're showing you today, you recognize already. So there's no reason why you can't just order that, order something you know up front, and then later on become adventurous and try some of the stuff that maybe you've never tried, like the ostrich burger or something like that. Okay, we've gone through, and again, she has a lot more things on the menu, but we need to move along to desserts, beverages, and let's take a look at some of the desserts. And she's, as we said, she has some smoothies and these other things that I believe they call them avalanches. Is that the proper term?
Avalanches. They're shakes. They're like flurries. Did a whole little marketing thing on calling them avalanches.
Uh-huh.
Beware of falling calories.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, trying to get clever.
I didn't know we were going to be inundated with a slogan. But anyway, but an avalanche is truly, and the one we're looking at, I think it's called the Rudy. They did somebody named Rudy. But if you like chocolate, chocolate, folks. Take a look at this one. I mean, I'm a chocolate malt freak, so this is just phenomenal, a milkshake. And also we have a down shot on it. Tell us about what goes in here and how this can be healthy for us.
Now, the cool thing about this is actually a smoothie, and it's one of our signature smoothies.
Okay.
And you're right, it's named after someone named Rudy, but Rudy's actually a rescued puppy dog that helped us build our first store.
Wow.
So that's why there's a tribute to Rudy, and that's why that smoothie is
She's bringing out
called
the tears in them. She's going for the sob story.
There
now.
you
Okay.
go.
Okay, tell us what's in the Rudy smoothie.
That is like a frozen coffee drink. So that particular smoothie tastes a lot like your typical frozen coffee drinks.
Exactly. That's what I love.
It's actually creamier and richer
Much
tasting.
creamier.
But your typical frozen coffee drink has 500 to 700 calories, basically all coming from sugar.
Exactly.
This particular smoothie is only 150 calories.
Wow.
With 30 grams of protein, no sugar, and only 1 gram of fat.
Gee, man.
So it is the perfect balanced breakfast. You can get it with caffeine or decaffeinated. So if you want that morning pick-me-up, you've got it with that. But you've got the protein to jumpstart your metabolism, to stabilize your blood sugar, to give you all that great energy throughout the day without all those calories from sugar that just pick you up and drop you down.
So there you go, folks. I mean, I've switched in the summer to iced coffees, and so this is a perfect substitute for breakfast. Instead of going to the coffee, get something healthy. Now, you had one before in the smoothie that I also was coffee really that I was hooked on till you came up with it. I think it was called like the Java Jolt or something.
Now the Java Jolt
you still
is
do
like
that
the
one?
Rudy. Oh yeah.
Tell us about that one, because that was a coffee
That is
flavored.
a coffee flavored one. There's a little more chocolate in it, but it's got a double shot of espresso in it.
Espresso, that really kick again, and that's what I really loved.
We have lots of, but you can add a shot of espresso to any of the coffee drinks, any of the iced coffees. You can add espresso to any of the coffee shakes like that.
Right.
Again, the good thing is you're starting your day with that protein. That's the amount of protein of eating a chicken breast with there's no fat and calories hardly, and you're getting all the good creamy sweet flavor
that
in your coffee
that you need in the morning.
And there's 30 other smoothies.
Oh, I know. My other favorite was, I love the name Spunky Monkey.
Spunky Monkey. You like all the caffeine drinks.
Oh, okay. And what's in Spunky Monkey? Because I love that one too.
The Spunky Monkey is one of my favorites.
It's pretty too. It's pink or purple.
It's kind of pinkish. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
It is kind of strawberry, citrusy. There's a little bit of banana in there. The trick is very little bit to keep the sugar content low. Okay. But it's got a little bit of caffeine in it as well. Got lots of vitamin C.
And as she said, there's numerous other flavors. But let's move on. We're going to look at the next dessert, which is, so we've done our kind of milkshake malt looking kind of thing and a coffee combined. The next one is really like a sundae. And it's a yogurt sundae. It's called a mixed berry yogurt. Look how beautiful this is. I think strawberry yogurt in the base, but on top, and we've got another downside, we've got a plethora of, we've got strawberries, blueberries, and I guess that's granola. Is that
granola? Right.
Talk about great and light. This is really good.
Now, see, this is a great breakfast as well because, again, it's balanced.
Right.
That yogurt in there is not only is it organic yogurt, but it's high protein.
Okay.
So we actually use our smoothie base in that yogurt. We mix it in with the yogurt, so it makes it a much higher protein, lots more fiber, keeps you more satiated throughout the day. It's got an organic granola and then the fruit in it. And we do those in different flavors. That one is a mixed berry, but if you want black cherries and pineapple or peaches.
You hit it right there. So there you go. So that's a sundae. Now this is the best. For those dearly departed, those who remember K&B, I remember as a kid growing up, I always went and got a nectar cream soda after school, and that was a big treat. She's got a nectar cream soda version that it really knock your socks off. Let's take a look. Look at the beauty of this and tell us about this bag. Really bringing it home and bringing memories back.
I tell you what, this is awesome. This is one of our avalanche shakes.
Oh, that's the avalanche, okay.
This particular one, I mean, I love it because it is that nectar cream soda. It's that old New Orleans flavor. The cool thing about that is there's less than 100 calories in that shake.
Wow.
And that is because our soft serve is my formulation. It's sugar-free, dairy-free, and low-fat. So we've been able to make ice cream out of everything you say you can't make ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream is sugar and fat. And we have the most...
No dairy, no sugar.
No dairy, no sugar. We use the Swerve, which is all natural, and our soft serve, just so people don't confuse the sugar-free with all these chemical things out there that cause your stomach to get upset.
Exactly.
This is all natural. That ice cream is 99% organic.
Wow.
All natural.
Wow.
Nothing in it that would upset your stomach, like, a lot of this diet stuff
Diet really can make you a little uncomfortable.
You will think that you're drinking an old-time Nectar cream soda.
It was definitely. It's the first thing I've had since they closed down K&B. Okay, now we're running out of time, so let's quick. Now we haven't even talked about some of the things that I love. Is a lot. They have lemonade. Some of the beverages. They have a limeade, which is a green tea limeade, and I'm telling you, folks, this is fabulous. I love limeades, and it's so hard. In fact, I grew a lemon and lime tree in my backyard just so I can get the limes. So tell us anything else about the limeade that you have, that green tea limeade. It's just, I guess it's healthy because it's green tea. I know we're learning more and more about green tea.
Well, and we steep our green tea. That is all made from scratch, and we use a Japanese sencha, which is a very delicate, expensive green tea from Japan, as well as a China gunpowder. We blend our green teas and steep them fresh, then add organic lime juice and our natural sugar alternative.
Fantastic.
And it is so refreshing, particularly in the summer. So
you see, they run the gamut of things from sweet to cool, refreshing. Plus, again, we're going to wrap this up, but what we need to talk about is the huge gourmet to go. There's packaged stuff that's already done, whether it's the chips, you want to grab a box of chips, all these soups, they prepare them, a lot of them ahead of time. They're in a great refrigerated section where you can have the soups, the salads, things where they've done during the day for you, ready in the evening if you don't have the time or wait for them to prepare something for you. So that's what's great about it, especially late, since they close relatively early, but still early enough for you to get in there and get something for your evening meal. Now, they also have catering, I understand, which I was shocked to hear, but I'm glad. Oh, absolutely, and that's such a great alternative because so many places, whether you want to cater an office lunch or cater an event, we have anything, sandwich trays, salad pans, all sorts of perfect. When I worked in
wraps.
Yeah, when we worked in the health insurance industry, constantly the reps would bring things out. Right. For lunches for the nurses, and the nurses maybe not the doctor, but the nurses were getting much more conscious of their health, even though the doctors were a little slow to follow. So the problem is, you still couldn't bring them anything. All you brought them was fruit and stuff like that. So this is the perfect for anybody in that industry that needs to make a headway with a nurse group or something like this. Is perfect because you're bringing something that they can equate to and understand, and also something flavorful. Well, it's great taste that makes you feel great. So okay, I think unfortunately we've talked our heads off here, but we really doesn't do justice to the menu. The only thing you can do is get out there and try. Remember, we're talking about Vitality Cafe. The address, once again, 1205 St. Charles. Don't be intimidated when you come up there because you're going to see this high-rise apartment house. Downstairs, there are 3 or 4 retail outlets. If you look at the front of the building, I believe it's second from the center on the left side. And again, it's open 7 days a week. Till 7 o'clock on all the way through Monday through Saturday. But Sundays they close around 5 to obviously let the folks go home a little early. But if you need something, call them up. You can call them up. You can order it. There's lots of menus picked up, so I know they'll have it ready for you. Like if you just want to drop by, stop in, pick it up, and keep going during the heavy traffic or something like that, they'll do it for you. So it's important. Vitality Cafe. Don't forget. And if you're out in Metairie, look them up. I understand the Metairie locations on Veterans, right near Shogun Restaurant in Harahan. I believe they're on Hickory and Dock. So I know you'll find that. North Shore. Where are they on North Shore? We're right off of Highway 22 near Bush. Highway 22 for those on the North Shore who see this. Okay. We really want to thank Dr. Katherine Wilbert, one, for having the bravery to create something, because this is certainly new ground for me and for New Orleanians as well as most diners, and it's something we need to be cognizant of, but at the same time, damn it, we don't need to give up our flavor because we're used to good food. Until next time, I'm going to let you go out with Dan Rivers, and we'll see you at Restaurant Review. Take care.
The Queen This will be on the new CD, be out at the end of the summer, and that one will be called the New Orleans Collection. And this is a little song about the Mississippi River. It hasn't changed much in the last 100 years, and the little steamships still pull out of New Orleans, and they take jazz up the heartland. And the other thing they took up the river was some gambling, and specifically some poker. And it's a story of a riverboat gambler who went up the Mississippi River and always very confident. And this one time, he didn't keep his guard up, and he got taken by a little gal from New Orleans. Hustlers and dealers, preachers and healers, rode the old Delta Queen. Grifters and stealers and well-keeping whalers, good-looking women from New Orleans. I was a riverboat gambler, I rode the old Delta Queen. No limit poker, nothing was wild, we steamed out of New Orleans. She was tall and winsome, with a voice as soft as rain. You'll mind if I sit in some? Pakistan Sam said, "Your deal, ma'am." Then she said, "Deuces and jacks, the king with the axe, wild on the old Delta Queen. Aces and eight-speed flushes and straights, do you boys know follow the queen?" Well, I was the king of the river, there's nobody better at cards. There's no hand I couldn't deliver, till the day that I dropped my guard, when she said, "Deuces and jacks, the king with the axe, wild on the old Delta Queen. Aces and eight-speed flushes and straights, do you boys know follow the queen?" I lost my shirt on the river, I think it was double dog dare. She said the words that still make me shiver, "Leave the rest of your clothes on the chair." Now if you ride the river, I'll give you some advice. Don't play cards with good-looking women, and don't make me tell you twice, 'cause they'll play deuces and jacks, the king with the axe, wild on the old Delta Queen. Aces and eight-speed flushes and straights, do you boys know follow the queen? I lost my shirt on the river, I think it was double dog dare. When she said the words that still make me shiver, "Leave the rest of your clothes on the chair." Now if you ride the river, I'll give you some advice. Don't play cards with good-looking women, and don't make me tell you twice, 'cause they'll play deuces and jacks, and the king with the axe, wild on the old Delta Queen. Aces and eight-speed flushes and straights, do you boys know follow the queen? Hustlers and dealers, preachers and killers, rode the old Delta Queen. Grifters and stealers and well-keeping whalers, and good-looking women from New Orleans. Well, I was a riverboat gambler, I rode the old Delta Queen. No limit poker, nothing was wild, we steamed out of New Orleans. She was tall and winsome, with a voice as soft as rain. Y'all mind if I sit in some? Waiters and good-looking women from New Orleans. Well, I was a riverboat gambler, the old dilt.